episode of Inside the Outdoors, we have Luis Benitez, who is the director of the Colorado Office of Outdoor Recreation. Luis brings a varied set of skills and experience to this public service job. He's an experienced mountaineer. He has summited Everest 6 times. He's also led successful expeditions on the 6 other highest summits on 6 other continents, giving him the 7 summits. He's worked for Vail Resorts. He's been on the board of Outward Bound, and he's had his own successful consulting business. So we're very excited to have him today. So thanks for joining us today, Luis.
Thanks for having me. That's great. Good job on the memory for the whole resume. Pretty good.
Well, thank you. Well, let's start with, give me your take on what was the thinking process in creating the Office of Outdoor Recreation, and what does it do?
You know, the process actually didn't start here in Colorado. Believe it or not, it began in Utah. Utah was the first state to have the role, and given our current landscape, it's kind of an interesting story, because when the role was initially created in Utah, it was really as a response to the outdoor industry not really being pleased with Utah's administration around their stance interacting with the outdoor industry, interacting with public lands, you name it. They were really at a place where something had to give in order to really feel like the industry was supported. To Governor Herbert's credit in Utah, he stood up and said, no, actually, we really do believe in the outdoor industry. We think it's a big part of our economy. And we're going to create this role to help with oversight at a state level. So that was the first role that was created. And then probably I would say about a year later, Governor Herbert and Governor Hickenlooper were spending some time together at the Governor's Association meeting. And I think Governor Herbert was needling Governor Hickenlooper a little bit about this new role and saying, you know, we've got this amazing role with this amazing person, Brad Peterson, overseeing the outdoor industry and economy for our state, and we think it's a really great thing. And Governor Hickenlooper came back to Colorado after that meeting and said, you know, could we do it, and could we possibly do it the Colorado way, a little differently? And that's where I came into the conversation. It was really created 2 years ago with a very simple premise. Given the size of the economy and how many jobs the outdoor industry is responsible for in Colorado, much like any other portion of our economy, like agriculture, aerospace, global business development, should it have oversight at a state level? And so the governor asked me to fill the role when we kicked it off about 2 years ago, and it's been a wild ride from that point to this.
What are some of the background skills that you feel have been valuable for you in the job and the path to the job?
Well, you know, I think some of the skill sets for this job, make no mistake about it, it is very much a political role. So you're spending a lot of time trying to build coalitions, help people understand the importance and value of some of the different pieces of our ecosystem. You have to be able to work within complex teams with different agendas, which is a lot like guiding. But you also need to understand what organizational development looks like, because this is, if the industry isn't necessarily a startup, the oversight of the industry, helping the industry understand what their political voice and gravity could or should be. How do we keep it strong? How do we help grow it? That is very much a startup ecosystem. And so being able to understand how to be innovative and also dynamic within that space has been definitely part of the journey. So I think those skill sets are really important when you look at something new like this.
What do you see with the Colorado brand in your office, and then OEDIT has the Colorado symbol and the brand image? So for an outdoor brand, an outdoor industry company, how do you see the value of using that Colorado branding in their own brand development as a piece of their overall digital marketing?
So I think, you know, one of the things that we realized a long time ago as a state is that, you know, there are certain things within Colorado that sells itself. You don't have to do a lot of work to help people understand and realize that, wow, this is an amazing community. We're pretty balanced politically. We've got a lot to offer. We deeply believe in a few things that I think, especially for our economy, really resonate. So to have outdoor industry companies utilize that brand, build off of that cultural brand, it's kind of a no-brainer. And I think a lot of the outdoor industry companies gravitate towards that and pivot to that. I think the thing that we need to pay attention to from a strategy perspective is you can't just sit back on your laurels and think that people are just going to do that automatically. You have to keep that conversation active and involved, because ultimately Colorado does not sell itself. We do have to be strategically thinking about how we position that brand so it's something that people can be proud of and that they would want to associate their products with.
What are some of the tools that you provide to companies who want to use the Colorado brand as part of their marketing effort?
That's pretty easy. We have a dedicated website to really help brands and companies ask themselves a few questions about associating the green Colorado triangle on their gear or on their product or with their company. And it's a very easy process. There's nothing that involves a fee. There's not a really difficult, complicated process to go through. So I would encourage anybody thinking about it, just check out the website, look through it, ask yourself the question of if the product or the organization that you're a part of, if you want to associate yourself with Colorado, and then it's really a simple process from there.
Switching to your office in particular and how you market, what role does digital marketing play in how you approach getting the word out about the office and its services?
I think it's pivotal to have a digital media strategy with anything that you're doing these days, regardless of whether it's the outdoor industry or not. But I think we're uniquely suited to really need a digital media strategy and presence because of everybody's living on their phone. And that's really where folks get a lot of their information, get a lot of their engagement and connection to us.
So what are some of your hopes, aspirations, ideas, dreams for the office in the next year or two?
Yeah, I think the large part of the journey for the last year was to secure the Outdoor Retailer Show from Utah and move that to Colorado. And that's been a big journey, and we're still just getting started. So the first show will be here about a month from us sitting here today. And I think, preparing for that, but then also letting not only our industry but the world know this is not going to be business as usual, and it's not just a normal trade show. This is where policy decisions are made for our economy. This is where we talk about diversity and inclusion on a much deeper level. We have dialogue around public lands, climate shift, and so to really bring some of those things into the light, my greatest hope, since that's really the gathering for our whole economy and our ecosystem, is that we can start to build some of these ancillary efforts around the show to not only support and bolster what goes on at the retailer show, but then also to help folks wake up and understand what it is that we do and how much that we impact. When you're talking about an economy worth over $887 billion in consumer spending, which is exactly what we are, and over 7.6 million American jobs, that comes along with a certain set of responsibilities, not just to ourselves, people that are within that economy, but to the people that sort of dabble in it, are loosely associated with it. So, my greatest hope is that we can build some of those external conversations. We can help people understand the things that we try to do, the things that we should be doing, both in the deepening of our economy and just trying to take care of the natural ecosystem that drives that economy.
Well, thank you for joining us today on another edition of Inside the Outdoors with Luis Benitez. See you next time.